Welcome to the Pearson Shaw's Personal Injury Postscript.
Hey everyone, welcome into an all-new episode of the Pearson Schaus Personal Injury Postscript with attorney Chris Schaus. I'm your host, Mike Leon. Chris here is a Baton Rouge personal injury attorney who has been representing clients all across southeastern Louisiana for more than 30 years, began his career in insurance defense before founding Pearson Schaus back in 92, and now he focuses on helping accident victims rebuild their lives with clarity, compassion, and strong trial advocacy. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. Chris is going to break all that down because I know you got questions. Chris has got the answers. Chris, it's good to see you. Let's start here at the beginning. What does an underinsured motorist coverage mean, and how is it different from regular liability insurance?
Yeah, good question, Mike. Thank you for that. We in Louisiana have serious problems with our insured motorists, uninsured motorists. We have the lowest limits for our mandatory omnibus coverage in the state. And so liability limits for 80% of Louisiana drivers are at the minimum $15,000 per person for injury, with a cap per accident of $30,000 per accident and $25,000 in property damage. It's our experience has shown that a minor fender bender, a little fender bender with a few months of treatment, soft tissue injuries, nothing too serious, will in these days of rising medical costs will exhaust a liability policy. And so any injury that is in any way more serious than that is going to create expenses to the claimant that exceed the available insurance. The way to protect against that is with UIM, underinsured motorist coverage in Louisiana. The problem is people don't know about it. Insurance companies don't want to sell coverage. They're required by law to offer it, but they don't want to sell it. And so they incentivize their agents not to sell it and pay them better when they don't sell it, when they don't sell or sell less of it in relation to the liability coverage. So folks don't get educated about it from their agent. They ask their agent, I want full coverage. The agent says, you want the best price? Yeah, sure. Agent takes that to mean he's financing the car. He needs comprehensive and collision so the car gets paid for if it's damaged, as long as that loan is outstanding. And when he says you want the best price, the agent interprets that to mean you don't want to pay for coverage. And so every week, folks are in my office saying, no, I'm sure I have I told my agent I wanted full coverage. And they're always surprised to find they don't, in fact, have it.
Yeah. And let's go back to the legalities part of this, because Louisiana, correct me if I'm wrong, requires to carry $15,000 liability coverage. So why is that such a huge problem? Explain to folks why it is, especially when serious injuries happen.
Because it's very common. It's very common to have medical expenses alone that may exceed that by a substantial margin. I've got a new case in now with $15,000 of coverage, and client has over $200,000 of medical bills. And yes, they have health insurance, but their health carrier is also looking to recover back what they've paid out through subrogation on this. And in that situation with no and excessive medicals like that, we're looking at an injured claimant who's got months, really, over a year of recovery ahead of them, lots of missed work, lots of pain and suffering, lots of expenses, and there's $15,000 of insurance coverage to defray all of those costs and expenses. The presence of makes all the difference in the world, and it allows you to get the right therapy and the right care and to take the time that you need to heal fully. And to be able to make adjustments, whether that's making accommodations in your house or buying aids to living to accommodate injuries or whatever it may be. Uninsured motorist coverage is just a vital piece of coverage in Louisiana.
And Chris, let's talk about how when that other driver's got no insurance whatsoever, how does that UM step in to kind of help the injured person?
In the case of a completely uninsured motorist, then the UM coverage drops down and becomes primary, becomes first dollar coverage, and so it pays right from the start, and it's just a vital coverage. It's very frustrating that the insurance companies won't educate their customers about it. But it's a difficult product to price and sell profitably, and insurance companies are expert at profit. And so what they try to do is stay out of the UM business to the extent they can.
Speaking of the other acronym, let's go with the UIM. Explain about the underinsured cases when the driver's got a little bit of coverage, it's not enough to cover the losses, how it kind of factors in.
Mike, I'm reminded of a situation I had a handful of years ago. I represented an older fella. He was hit from behind very forcefully, destroyed both vehicles. He had substantial spinal injuries. I had known the fella for some years and handled some work for him in the past. And I said, "Get me the details on your UIM coverage. This fella that hit you only has $15,000 of coverage, and so we need to access your UIM, your underinsured motorist coverage." And he said, "Oh, I got tired of carrying that. I canceled that coverage just about a month ago." And I said, "Oh, tell me about that. What made you decide to cancel your underinsured motorist coverage?" His understanding, he had been buying that coverage for many, many years. His understanding was that the money he paid went into a pool, and that pool bought insurance for people who couldn't afford it. Maybe like an insurance bank is like a food bank or something like that. I said, "No, sir, that coverage is for your benefit. Here in this accident, he was not uninsured. The at fault had insurance, but you've got a $250,000 claim, and he's got $15,000 of coverage. That $150,000 of UM that you carried for all those years would have paid out on this accident." But with that coverage canceled, we had to scuffle around and make other arrangements. It was a very difficult situation.
So, Chris, let's talk then about the misunderstandings because you said the insurance company doesn't educate folks out there. So, from your experience, what are some of the biggest misunderstandings people have about the coverages, and what should they be asking the insurance companies when they get the coverages?
I think the biggest gaps are UM and MedPay. MedPay coverage is very inexpensive. You can buy it in any amount, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. So you can pick up MedPay in kind of bite-sized increments. It adds just a handful of dollars to your monthly premium. And people say, "Well, I have health insurance through my job." Well, check the news. Health insurance through your job is struggling. It's going away in some cases. Employers are fighting the premium battle, and coverages are changing. It's year end. Your coverage is likely to be different in January than it is today because employers all over the country are learning about the new price increases, and they're adjusting their employer plans. So MedPay covers copays, deductibles, out of plan expense, non-covered expenses, all of those things. Any medical expense that you incur as a result of a motor vehicle collision is covered under that. So if you are in an accident and injured, that MedPay is available, and you can use it for copays or deductibles or whatever. Everyone in your car also benefits from that coverage. It's available to everyone, any passengers, carpool kids, or anything of that nature. If you're a pedestrian and you're hit by a motor vehicle, that MedPay would be available. $5,000 of MedPay can really go a long way, especially when it's supplementing your health insurance. And so you can manage a fairly serious injury with the combination of a little MedPay and a decent bit of health insurance. So I think that MedPay is kind of a no-brainer for folks who are insurance shopping. The UM coverage is more costly and a more complex product, but it is vitally important. There's another aspect to it. In the last 10 years, they got authorization and began selling EOUM. That's economic only underinsured motorists. And they like it. It's cheaper, but it's not really, for most people, it's not much of a useful product. Economic only means if you're hit by a motorist without adequate insurance, this coverage will pay things for which you can bring a receipt. So not pain and suffering or loss of enjoyment of life or future wage loss, but for medical expense, for past lost wage. You get those, you can recover those benefits. We feel like our clients need to go ahead and get the traditional uninsured motorist coverage and stay away from economic only. If economic only is all you can afford, you're probably doing just as well to buy MedPay.
Right. Chris, let me ask you kind of like a high level question here. Why do you feel like so many Louisiana drivers skip these coverages, especially like MedPay? You mentioned it's relatively inexpensive, even though the costs are inexpensive. I know one is a little bit more expensive than the other. Is it just cost?
You know, insurance is a sophisticated product. People struggle to buy insurance and to understand what they're buying. coverage is a very complex product. We're a poor state. Finances certainly matter. They certainly come into the equation. But the truth is, my experience is that agents just don't do a very good job of selling their product. It's a complicated product, and it's difficult to educate people and sell them on it. But what I find, whether my folks are hardworking blue collar tradespeople or have college degree and have been in office professional job for a couple of decades, they don't understand much about their insurance. They rely on their agent. Their agent is very friendly and he seems like an ally, but they don't realize the things that he has failed to educate them over. Some years ago, I helped a family that had had the same agent for 30 years. In 30 years, they'd gone from being newlyweds and broke to being retirees with a substantial nest egg. Coverage never changed at all over those entire 30 years. And right on the threshold of retirement, they found themselves faced with a very substantial liability claim and very, very inadequate insurance. And it was the first time they realized their agent of 30 years, who they thought was a great friend of the family, had neglected their claim and their business, and they were grossly underinsured.
Yeah. Chris, so in keeping with that theme, and as we land the plane on this episode, someone's listening to it right now. You just gave them that story, but they're listening to this. They're about to renew their insurance right now. What's the best piece of advice you would give them on how to choose the right limits and protect their family?
Well, get a quote, find out what it costs. Look at a couple of options. Option it with more option it with less option the MedPay, get a couple of MedPay quotes. I've been in the process of looking to move my insurance over the last couple of weeks, and it is a nightmare. You get tons of calls, but it's very hard to get good information. We're happy. We run it in our marketing. We do it routinely for our clients. We're happy. When somebody has questions about that, they can make an appointment and come in. We can do it over the phone or by Zoom or whatever. I'm happy to have a personal one-on-one conversation and help folks a little bit with their questions on that stuff.
Yeah. Chris, thanks for the time and insights as always. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. It's good talking with you.
And thank you to everyone out there for listening to this installment of the Pearson Schaus Personal Injury Postscript. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident in the state of Louisiana, don't face the insurance companies alone. Do me a favor right now. Visit Pearson Schaus, Schaus spelled SHOWS.com to connect with Chris and his team. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review and comment, or share the episode with someone who needs to hear it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. See everybody next time.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.